Chris Ogon is finishing up work on some riotous characters.
What's the story you're trying to build here?
Ogon, like other Daily Monitor news reporters, has a deadline to beat, and the figures he's drawing have to be on paper, detailed, colored, and comical in the true sense of the word. Here, you cannot immediately know who is sketching, but after a few sweeps of the pen, FUFA President Moses Magogo and Vipers FC and St. Mary's Stadium owner Lawrence Mulindwa appear on his computer and are being colored. Magogo sitting on an untidy surface, a long-necked crane with a yellow plume and wearing the Uganda Cranes jersey next to him, both cut a look of sadness and confusion. A rooster in the corner is enjoying the moment with its blue top jersey. A keen mind will see that that is Villa FC, welcoming Uganda Cranes to the Association of Clubs without home ground. Meanwhile, Mulindwa sits somewhere at the top as if waiting to save Magogo from the rainy day with his red umbrella. And indeed, Mulindwa will save the day because the national football team, the Uganda Cranes, will play its upcoming World Cup qualifying games at St. Mary's Stadium in Kitende. For Ogon, so much in Uganda is upsetting.
Sometimes you don't find anything humorous. It's depressing and you have to find a way to bring in humor, however hard it is.
For the hilarious, controversial and scandalous politicians, none has found mercy with Ogon's sharp pen. In the recent tense political season that was heavily colored by violent campaign assemblies, Ogon's cartoons were soothers that painted a lighter side of the squabbles and violence. But again, they did rub some politicians the wrong way.
I don't pride in for offending people, but I don't mind offending people as well. Some people really, if you want to drive the message home, you're really going to offend people who you think are offending others, or in the process offending themselves without knowing so.
But how much can cartoonists and satirists change by expressing anger or ridiculing the powers that be, and other social and economic players whose actions trigger debate? Isaac Tibasima, a teacher of literature at Makerere University, thinks cartoons and other satiric pieces have a deep impact, especially because the people in the caricature see the pictures and message, and depending on what it is, work on bettering their act.
Chris has drawn cartoons and I've gone to his inbox and said, Chris, you're going to be killed. And the first thing he will do is laugh. But he laughs not because he knows he will be killed. He laughs because he knows you have been able to interpret what I drew. You see that? And it is hard for you to take away that which people can interpret but also relate to their personal lives, because that is what good art does. So in tolerating art, we would say maybe the government is also aware that people's disgust is there. And these things kind of bring to their mind what really is happening in the country. How they deal with that is really their business, and how they deal with it and how they come to terms with it is their business. The reality, though, is that people will get a piece of writing and they will ask themselves, how does this relate to me?
Dr. Spire is another sensational political cartoonist. The author and philosophy lecturer at Makerere University and Uganda Matters University sketches quickly, and in a few minutes, his cartoon is ready for publication on either social media or in the Observer newspaper, where he doubles as a columnist. Like Ogon, who draws the president with a gun as a distinguishing symbol, Sentongo uses a plastic bottle dripping with water irrigating something. In some of his cartoons, Sentongo does not draw the president himself, but the bottle, to symbolize that the issue in focus has the president's hand in it.
If you're pushing for a change in Uganda, you can't push for it without commenting or focusing on the president more, given that this is a presidentialist state. So I've drawn the president more than anyone else, partly also because he has been a constant factor, more constant than any other political player in our politics. Yeah, sometimes I sit back. Actually, most of the times while I'm drawing, I'm also cautious. It's not that I draw anything that I feel like drawing.
Could it be that the powers who censure media content have let cartoonists be, or they are still studying the impact of their work? Sentongo says that the only time he has had a near threat was when somebody tried to buy him off in the recent general election season. For Ogon, the pressure is from his immediate family members who tell him to go slow on certain videos.
So he suggested 50 million and I replied, well, I would really want to take that deal, but I want 5 trillion. I knew that it would simply just push him away, and he became irritated. He said, actually, you don't even deserve 50 million. I should have given you 5. I blocked him. That's where it ended. But in terms of threats, I haven't been threatened by anyone.
If people react negatively to cartoons, it is a failure on their part to understand that there is an issue that needs to be looked into seriously. There's a part of their lives that sometimes is under scrutiny that they have to think carefully about. Or there are issues about policy, or there are issues about governance, or issues about things that they should really have done that they have not done. And like I said, because artists and cartoonists are many times community and people's spokespersons, they want to say to you, hey, look here, this is what we think about you. This is what people think about you. What are you going to do about it?
As the 10th Parliament neared its end, members amended rules of procedure to include that no extracts of parliamentary proceedings may be used in light entertainment programs or in any content of political satire. If such a rule is not challenged legally, going forward, creators like Ogon, Sentongo and TV satire producers could run into problems.
Now, when you try to caution yourselves from criticism, what you're telling us is there is something you're hiding. And what we are then going to do is that we're going to seek more and find out what exactly it is you're hiding. Because satire is supposed to change people. It is supposed to change society out of the ridicule that comes out of it.
I actually feel energized to go for them. Now that I know it rattles them, it gives me more reason to, because if they are not doing things the right way, and by right I don't mean my way.
A few known publications from the past were known to carry cartoons which were not so entrenched in the political space. Others were church publications whose comic section was strictly for educational purposes. Of late, the space for socio-political satire is only starting to grow. Also, with the growth of social media, where distribution is quick and uncensored, creators are bound to take advantage of the huge audiences. Frank Walusimbi, NTV.